Hello everybody, and welcome to Lawrie's Mechanical Marvels. This week, I'm still in America. Or I've gone back to America, depending on the sequence of when I actually release this video. But today, I'm going to be looking at something which really sums up everything that I think is good about America, and the kind of vehicle that I love. This is amazing. This is a 79 Chevy Silverado K3500. And it is massive. I'm pretty sure there are trucks back home in the UK that I drive commercially which are smaller than this. We do not have anything this kind of size on our roads. It's monstrosity big. I mean, it's the same kind of length as Jupiter, and that's not even that much of an exaggeration. My fire engine isn't that much longer than this. It's the length of two of my other vehicles easily. Like the 106 would start here and finishes at the front door. It's just ludicrously big, and that's wonderful. That's what I like about it, is the sheer size of this machine. I can't get over how big it is. Now, we think it weighs somewhere in the realms of between 3.5 to 4 tons, which means that if you didn't have an HGV license in the UK, you wouldn't be able to drive it because it's just too big. The bed in the back is 8 foot long, and the width of it, this truck, which is like 6 foot, so that's like a 6 foot by 8 foot bed in the back. It's colossal. It has all-wheel drive. It has been raised by about 4 or 5 inches away from being when it was stock, which means it's ridiculously high. I can't get over how massive it is. Now, it may be in work-weary guise, but the present owner, to acquire this vehicle, swapped 2 jet skis, one of which did not work when it was in the water. So I think he's done exceptionally well to acquire this beast, because it is just a beast. it's I can't get over this thing. I'm quite happily leaning on the bonnet of this because it's high enough. Oh man, I can't wait to take this out. So this behemoth is 20 foot and 11 inches from the front bumper to the rear. Now, if you guys recall, way back I reviewed a old Ford fire engine, an A-series fire engine. That was smaller than this. A fire truck in the UK, okay, an industrial one, but a fire truck in the UK is smaller than this general anybody can drive it pickup, which is just silly. To try and stop this thing, it has at least got disc brakes on the front and stock tyres, which haven't kind of been upgraded or uprated with bigger wheels to cope with the lifting. They're stock, so they look almost like roller skates underneath this big thing. At the back, we have double wheels. Because it's that heavy, it needs the double tyres, and good old-fashioned drum brakes. I am told it is good fun and very bouncy to drive, but we'll see. It's amazing, isn't it? Is this not just incredible and so pretty? I really like the fact that there's a bit of bare metal and rust and the paintwork coming through. That's character building, that's cool. It's taller than me, I'm 6 foot. And it's that much. It's a good half a foot taller than me. This is totally excessive, and it's awesome. The other thing to take away from the colossal rear end is the American love of chrome, which I actually really, really like. It's on everything. Run-of-the-mill pickups, chrome. Trucks, chrome. Everything has chrome, which is awesome. Also, remembering we're in America, the turn signals are red. It's the same light as the brakes, which is so confusing because to our European eyes, that looks like a brake light on the fritz, especially if you've got the brakes already on. It's just like, oh, that brake light's a bit, oh no, he's turning. Now, also, nice bit of checker plate across here, reinforcement that is, makes it stronger. Not because it's falling apart or broken, no sorry, because there is no rust on this vehicle at all. Nope, good quality American steel. Yep, all fine, all fine. And then, obviously, a tow hook, because what else are you going to do with this apart from tow everything? I'm pretty sure this would just, you could connect the planet Earth up to this and just tow off, and the planet would just follow happily. This is silly big. But as it's American, that means that there must be something really cool underneath the hood. So let's have a look underneath the hood. Right, so let's have a look under the mighty hood, which is, actually quite a challenge. Wow. From where you guys are, you can't see in here. And also, I have no idea how you work on this, because I can just about touch the top of the cam covers from here. It's just, it's silly. There's an awful lot of space inside this hood. If it was a normal sized truck on the ground, you'd be able to get to everything easy. In here, there is a Chevy 454 V8, which of course runs on gas because we're in Americanland. And that is 7.4 litres. The engine in this is almost as big as the V8 in my fire engine, which is a lot bigger, well, okay, a bit bigger, and quite a bit heavier, because Jupiter is plated for, I think, 11 tonnes, whereas this is 3 or 4. And it's amazing. The engine goes through to a 3-speed auto box, because America and pretty much everything's auto. And then we've got the options inside for 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, high range, low range, and combinations of there above. Because it's a pickup, it must have to be able to go off-road, right? And just go in a straight line through probably everything in the way, like forest, houses, people, animals, the sea. This will just keep on driving. Nothing will stop this. Now, we think when it was stock, this generated about 280 horsepower, but since then it's had a different carb put on it, which we think now pushes up to about 300 horsepower. I get this wonderful sensation that that 300 horsepower is basically going to be 300 horsepower of noise rather than actual power, because we all know it's going to sound amazing. So I guess the only real thing to do is get inside and have a look at that and then see what noise it really does make. God. You have to be strong to do this. The first challenge with this thing is actually climbing up and into it, which is, it's a long way up. The first thing is the sense of power that this machine gives you. This is how I envision it is to drive a monster truck. I am so high off the ground right now, and it is a beautiful dash. It's proper old school, and it's everything I like. Proper nice dials with voltage for the battery, oil pressure, temperature, a speedo, which apparently may not work all the time, and then a massive gauge that tells you how much petrol we've got left, because it drinks. At full throttle, you will see the needle move, and that is not an exaggeration. The owner reckons that he's getting about 6 or 7 to the gallon. Which, I mean, that makes sense, but it is just stupid. We have a cassette player, because that's the era it's come from. We have random switches down here, which we have no idea what they do. They were fitted by a previous owner. Who knows what they do? High, low, or in fact just low, lock, low, neutral, high, high, lock. There, brilliant. Little twisty switches for things like windscreen wipers and the jets. It's all very sophisticated. Oh, there's sunglasses up here. I found sunnies, that's good. It does show some kind of signs of being used. There's a couple of tears in the sun visor, and the bench seat at the front has seen better days. However, bench seat in the front. I can fit 3 people in here and 3 in the back, or at least English-sized people. Americans, it might be 2 and 2, but yeah, that's beside the point. The other major thing about this truck is we have a switch here for the right-hand fuel tank or the left-hand fuel tank. That's right, it guzzles so much fuel. It has 2 fuel tanks, which is just mental. Apart from that, if I do shut the door, the visibility is surprisingly good, apart from the fact that I can't see anything for about 6 or 8 foot in front of the truck. Anyone who runs out in front of this, they're going under it. It's it's ludicrously big, but I do like the bulge in the bonnet. It just makes it a bit more special. All things considered though, when this was new, it was actually probably quite a nice place to be. And for me, this is perfect. So there's only one thing to do. Put the foot down on the brake and listen to the noise.
Oh yes! I have never been more excited to drive anything.
So the first thing to notice about this is that if I give it any power at all, you won't be able to hear me. Observe. Yep. It's very loud. So that 200 horsepower engine transfers and transforms gas, not petrol, it's gas over here, remember, into noise particularly well. Power, it's not really so much good at the power. These windscreen wipers are abysmal. Absolutely 100% abysmal. The steering's very vague, like really, really vague. It's a lazy steering setup. It makes you feel a little bit afraid. You kind of point the truck in a vague direction and you hope for the best. And it is very much hope for the best. The windscreen wipers are now disintegrating. That's how bad they are. So I have some vision and we're just kind of hoping. Other things that have stopped working since we've been doing this review. The speedo. The battery volt reader, that works. Oil pressure just says it's at full. The clock works, and the temperature gauge doesn't. The thing that does work, and it works very well, is the fuel gauge. I've now been driving this truck for 5 minutes, and it's already dropped an entire section of the gauge. It was half full, and now we're on halfway between quarter and half. I kid you not. You literally can watch the fuel gauge dropping. And that is absolutely 100% terrifying. Apart from that, the ride is really quite comfortable. I've got no problems with the ride at all. I'm really enjoying it. It's possibly something to do with it being a bit higher and the shocks having more room to travel. But, you know, it's comfortable. You could have a nap as you're driving along. You would not, however, want to take it onto a racetrack or push it because you feel seasick. A little shake of the wheel and it's everywhere. It is genuinely terrifying. The view out in the mirrors just tells me that there is a back of the truck, and they're magnified so I see the rear wheel arches, which kind of makes you forget how very long the truck is, because it is massive. Every single corner is like taking a lorry, like a truck round. It's massive. And it started to rain, and when I take my foot off the throttle, it just sounds like thunder. It's amazing. Everything that's not perfect about this truck, my local guide tells me that we're going this way. Everything that I don't like about this truck, or isn't perfect, because let's be honest, there's nothing I don't like about this, it's amazing. But everything that's not perfect is instantly neglected by the fact it sounds amazing. It really is. And this basically is everything I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be very loud and very, oh God, It doesn't go around corners well. That's the other thing to take from this. It does not corner well. The turning circle is about the size of Wales, the country. The other thing is this door is open. That's fine. We don't need the doors to shut. This is quite a nice, cool breeze. Because as you can tell, normally for driving this vehicle around, we'd have the windows down because it's hot in North Carolina. And in order for you to be able to hear me, we have all the windows shut, and it's very warm. Very warm. Now, the brakes are... It has brakes. That's all I can say for the brakes. They are there. They will slow you down and drag you slightly over to one side as they do slow you down. So I feel it's more you get dragged into the side of the road, and then the side of the road slows you down. The throttle response, well, you put your foot on the throttle and it goes. And nothing happens. Because being an automatic gearbox, it will shift down and think about what it's doing. But even when the automatic gearbox gets its mind up, we're not actually going any faster. The foot was hard to the floor and it just made noise. And frankly, that is glorious. Absolutely glorious. This is clearly not a vehicle I want to daily, but it is just so much fun. It's also very wide, and I'm not sure if you realised how wide it is. Because I didn't until I got into it. And then you realise this takes up all of the road. And then some. That is a big, big truck. And with this steering wheel on it as well, the steering wheel almost feels too small. It's almost like a race car steering wheel. And this is anything but a race car. But driving around the wherever I am in North Carolina, this feels the right vehicle. I feel like I'm a local driving this. And to be fair, it's not rapid. But you know me, you know the stuff I enjoy. And I enjoy driving things for the sensation of what it is rather than rapidness. And I like to drive. And this is simply the most amazing experience. Out of everything that I've driven in my time in America, this is probably the thing I'm enjoying the most. And this is the thing I want to take home, because this simply would not fit on the roads at home. And there's no way I'm going to get into my hold luggage. But that purr is just beautiful. Absolutely 100% beautiful. And is it enough to make me totally love this? Yes. Oh yes. I just need that big block noise in my life. So what have we learned on our trip out here? I need a big V8, which is almost as big as this is bigger than the V8 in the Rolls Royce. But this one sounds like a V8. It's throaty. I mean, the exhaust on this has nothing. It's just a straight pipe that comes off the engine to like a 3-inch diameter hole at the back end of the truck. There might be some kind of silencer on it, but it doesn't do much. In fact, when I was doing my drive-by shots earlier, I had the microphone turned all the way down. Oh wow, it's on the level road, on the straight, it's like fighting with somebody. The machine does not want to stop. It shakes and goes, no, 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 and blah, blah, blah. No, it's alive, this. Oh, the power. My God, right guys, in the time that we've had this review running, I have used 1/8 of a tank of fuel. That's impossible. Now the fuel over here is, what's the price of fuel over here?
About $2.30.
$2.30 a gallon. So $2.30 an American gallon, and working out, I think it's like $7 a gallon back home in the UK.
Oh no, I was wrong. $2.70.
$2.70. So it's over twice as cheap in America to have fuel. This would cost literally hundreds of pounds in petrol to run. We have done, I think, about 10 miles in the time I've been running this camera. And you would literally have to drive this to the fuel station, back home, and then go back to the fuel station. There's nothing else you could do. Like, there's nothing else, nowhere else you could go. Apart from, where are you taking the truck today? To the fuel station. Then what? Oh, then I'll probably have enough petrol to come home. Then what? Oh, I need to top up again. It needs the 2 fuel tanks. So we put in $20 of petrol, and that gave us from nothing about half a tank. So $40 would fill 1, $80 would fill 2. So at UK prices, we're talking, at least $160 to fill it. Then convert that into, it's going to drink the best part of 150 quid to fill this up. The brakes are quite shocking. It really does not want to go in a straight line. Is it terrifying? Yes it is. The front visibility is just, there might be a civilization in front of me. The road could have ended. I don't know. Oops, green light. Go on, there we go. Civilizations could have risen and fallen. Anything could happen in front. Till we pass something, I've lost sight of the curb. 1, 2, it's 3 seconds from losing sight of an object, travelling at 20 something miles an hour, before I actually pass the object. That's how much of a blind spot I've got in front of me. Oh, it's slow. This is basically like driving any of my cars back home from the back seat. Come on, you. I'm trying to be gentle with it, but I don't know why, because I'm pretty sure I could put my foot hard down and it wouldn't do anything. Yes! It is, quite simply, it's the best fun. For someone who enjoys old school things like this is simply fantastic. I can kind of see what's going on. It's comfortable. Do you know what? If I was out here long term, I'd have one of these. I would hunt one of these down. I mean, I'd have to have won the lottery or something first to fuel it and run it. And then this thing tows. The fuel efficiency. What? If you were pulling something with this and actually putting that engine to work, because we are just trundling around and occasionally making some noise, but imagine putting a load on this. You'd have to pull a fuel tanker with you just to work it. I guess it's part of a dead generation now. It's part of things that just don't exist. This is just amazing. I really like the dials. I really like the controls. They are just pretty. It's from that era that I love. So I'm never going to find any faults with this, despite the fact it doesn't work. I don't think the AC works either. It's not much works on this. But I don't care. I'm happy. I want to drive this everywhere. I want to be rich enough to drive this everywhere. What a truck. It would be a good kind of second or third vehicle that you just want to go out and make some noise and just be a bit of a hoodlum and just drive around in a residential area and be like, hello everybody, officer. That noise, that is the sound of America, guys. That is America. The V8 at full chat. Not doing anything. I wonder if the owner of this realises how much I'm loving it and the fact he's not getting it back ever. Because of course, we don't have anything like this back home. This is such an experience, and I feel really privileged to be able to have a go in something like this. Because we don't have anything that compares anywhere near to this. Whoops, that was a bump. There is nothing. Even the lorries I drive. Like, it may be an old school lorry with an old school V8. Oh wait, yeah, cool. Even the lorries I drive with an old school V8, they don't sound like this. And they've probably got more power. There's nothing I can compare this to anything I've ever driven. It's just, there's nothing. This is a brand new experience. I mean, this is kind of how I would like every SUV to be. Big and meaty and powerful. But they're not, they're rubbish. This is a happy truck. You know how some people, when they go to sleep, they have, to help them sleep, they have the sounds of things like the sounds of the ocean, sounds of the jungle. This is what I want. I want a recording of this. That will help me go to sleep. Just you sit there and you listen, just hear the rumble. That's the noise. Oh. That's such a pretty noise. It's probably, just because of the size of it and the way it handles, it's one of the vehicles that I'm least comfortable with. I'm really enjoying the experience, but you never really know where you are in the road. And the way the steering is, you're never really sure if it's going to go around the bend at the speed that you're travelling. It's a little bit strange in that regard. Would I have it though? Oh yes, I've already said I'd have one of these 1,000,000 times over. It is. This, ladies and gentlemen, this is the American dream. Big pickup, lifted off the ground, making a stupid noise, not going very fast. This review has drunk a quarter of a tank of fuel. We have had to fill this up once already from doing the drive-bys, and I have drunk a quarter of a tank of petrol. A quarter of a tank! Now, I appreciate it's a totally different thing, but the 106 will do like 100 miles on a quarter of a tank. Oh yeah, I know, it's like an engine that is 7 times smaller, and the car that probably weighs 7 times less and is almost 7 times smaller as a thing, but can you imagine? I mean, imagine trying to use this for work or anything. It's just, yep, we can make that turn. To make the turn we've just gone round, I had to cross to the wrong side of the road and ended up on the wrong side of the road at a full lock. It's totally ludicrous. It's totally 100% ludicrous. But that's why I love it. Vehicles you love don't need to be sensible. In fact, everything that I've got that I really love isn't sensible. Excluding the 106, that's a bit sensible. And this is what cars should be. They should be stupid, and that's why you love them. Because it is utterly, utterly stupid in every... It's so excessive. From the engine size, to the number of cylinders, to the amount of space in here, to the size of the bed, to the overall length of the vehicle, to the height it is off the road. This is excessive, and I love it. Absolutely love it. I hope you've enjoyed this, because I really have. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, drop a comment. Would you drive one of these, or do you just think it's a stupid, oversized, large thing? I mean, you'll be right, because it is, but get in touch, and we'll see you next time, guys. Ta-ra. And if you have enjoyed watching this video, somewhere over here, there'll be a link to one of my other American adventures, and below that, there'll be a link to one of my UK adventures and a bit more civilised vehicles.